to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
It isn't uncommon, you know. There's no relative direction in the vastness of space. There's only yourself, your ship, your crew. It's easier than you think to get lost.
It's been 48 hours since my last journal entry. I am still in the star system, still searching for the elements. I am still at a loss as what am I going to do if I do not discover these elements, if I don't find them. What's more disconcerting is speaking with the local intelligent alien life. They've heard of copper, they know of copper, but iridium, some have a basic idea of what I'm looking for and they're not sure if it's in the system. But others look at me as they're clueless. It's as if they won't even talk to me. I stumble across these asteroids with the large deposits of copper. You should have seen my joy when this moment happened. I didn't know how to contain myself. I was being so careful not to miss a piece. I was flying so slow. After about 3 hours of mining the asteroids for copper, I decided it was time to continue the search for the more difficult element, iridium. I had searched the planet from the last star journal for far too long. Far too long. I had no more plutonium left. Just enough to power the launching thrusters to get back to orbit. No more plutonium to power life support. No more plutonium to power anything on the ship for very long. I stayed far too long. But I have to. I mean, don't I have to? I'm searching for the very elements that I need to continue my journey. I have to find these. The alien race that had an idea of what I was looking for said that if it was the same material that they were aware of, that is found in archways on certain planets in this local area of this galaxy, they're not sure if it's available in this star system. The freighters we've seen in orbit, they won't even answer my hails. I don't understand if maybe it's the universal translator breaking down. Maybe it's my starship design. Or what. But they're not answering any hails for help. I believe that my upgrade from my warp reactor Sigma upgrade is the only thing that the computer is telling me is actually damaged. When that was told to me, I was like, great, I still have warp drive. I was made very much aware of the fact of how much this ship relies on that warp reactor Sigma upgrade. That if I attempted a jump to warp with it being damaged this severely, that it could rupture the very warp core itself, and then this journey would be over. As if you just noticed the big jump in the Star Journal, the reasoning for that is I spent over an hour and a half searching the landing site of the ship. These columns, these arches, every time I see one I have to investigate it. Make sure it's not iridium. We must find the iridium. You know that feeling you get as a child? You ever experienced it when you lost your parent, or your teacher, or your older sibling, and you felt utterly alone? Yeah, that's how I feel every day for the last 62 days. And on top of it, I can't remember much more. I know my name. I know where I come from. But memories of family and friends, they just won't come to me. While we continue this journey together and I record these star journals together, I believe it's imperative to also add my thoughts of the moment while I was moving forward. I farmed all the copper in that area. I took every piece of copper I could, and I stopped recording due to the fact that the last time I was on the planet, if you noticed stuff jumping around a lot, the reason for that was honestly because I spent far too much money refueling my plutonium reserves and my carbon reserves and my titanium reserves. And the reason for that was because I recorded everything. I decided to cut the camera off whenever I wasn't doing anything imperative. I do wish to apologize at this moment, if I ever do get home, that these journal entries during this time frame of me looking for these materials are not complete to Starfleet Research Department. But I have to do what I have to do to preserve resources. But back to the point, the case at point. The whole idea about recording my thoughts at the time. From the time I was mining the copper to now, I was thinking in my head about the new designs of the starship I'm going to be building. Star vessel, not starship. This was a unique situation. This isn't the first time in the last 3 or 4 months that these space pirates, they put it, have attacked me for no reason. And I can tell you for a fact that it's not this starship design. I thought maybe it may be a case of mistaken identity, but I've been told by a lot of local local alien life in this system, and in fact the last couple of weeks, that they attack everybody. They're literally what their name is, space pirates. I've heard of pirates before, but it's from Earth history before we'd ever even developed airflight. Something that was done on the seas with ships. I know Starfleet wouldn't necessarily approve of non-diplomatic solutions, but every single time I have to fight these guys, they drop out of warp and immediately attack. I remember thinking at that exact moment, I have got to finish the design of this ship. And if I ever get out of this star system, that has got to be priority 1. I have set and thought while traveling at warp for hours at a time. What the differences was, I've researched and looked at the schematics and the mathematics behind the shielding technology and weapon technologies. They're not that much different than what we have in the Federation. They're just not perfected. They're antiquated, as you would put it. Technologies. Grandfather technologies to what we use today. I remember thinking to myself upon that revelation that maybe, just maybe, this ship will cost a lot less. I'll have to violate the Prime Directive slightly, but I do remember in a history class at Starfleet Academy that the legendary Captain James Tiberius Kirk, he saved the Earth and the Federation, for that matter, when an alien probe had came to Earth in search, for some reason, to speak with whales, and they traveled back in time. He made a judgment call then for the preservation of Earth and his crew. In order to succeed in his mission at all costs, that he would have to slightly violate the Prime Directive. The first violation is the one I wish to reference here, so it's on file. In order for me to succeed, in order for me to acquire this ship at a reasonable rate, I'm going to have to give specifications and designs for more advanced versions of these current technologies that they have available to them. So that's going to be violating the Prime Directive in itself, giving more advanced technologies to an inferior race, or not as a technologically advanced race. But I'm not going to have an option. Captain James T. Kirk did this in the way of Earth on that mission. He needed something acquired, and he gave his crewmates, his crew below him, the free rein to do whatever it took to acquire the materials they needed. And a captain is ultimately responsible for the conduct and behavior and actions of the crew below him. Starfleet regulates and enforces that. And it was in Captain James T. Kirk's logs of this famous journey and this famous mission, one of many that he did, that he said that Mr. Montgomery Scott, his chief engineer, made a pact with a human, another human being, another earthling, another human on Earth from that time, for the glass they required to build the tank to bring humpback whales back. He, in essence, give transparent aluminum over 45, 50 years before its creation. These technologies that I'm going to be giving out aren't something they would have never acquired. They already have them. They're just refinements. So I hope that me referencing the famous captain and his decisions for self-preservation and preservation of the human race and Starfleet itself on a technology that really wasn't discovered by the human race for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I'm just giving them refinements to their current technology. In fact, there's several indications early in Starfleet of times when the Vulcans first started to actually help us refine our technologies. It was touch and go in the beginning, from what I understand. There was a lot of animosity between certain members of Starfleet and the Vulcan embassy and the, Vulcan government.
Incoming storm.
But we finally came to an impasse, and we overcame it. And the Vulcans started helping us advance our weapons. They never gave us any technology we didn't already have. But they did help us improve the ones we had. I remember this moment. I remember flying the plutonium and then walking over and finding the iridium. I remember losing my mind upon finding the iridium. I remember focusing on the structure itself and taking a picture so I could show the alien race that had helped me say that there are ratings on this toxic planet that suggested that the element might exist here. Even here, iridium is very, very, very awesome. This planet is so toxic I can't stay outside for more than 20 seconds. 30 seconds. I have a lot of things. That feeling when I had finally repaired the starship. When I had finally repaired the warp drive. You don't even know how I felt about that. How could you? How could you? I've been referencing Starfleet logs as of recent. The only help that I have found so far has been finding solace, finding security and confidence and wisdom in searching the starship logs of Voyager. In case you're unaware, Voyager was a starship. In case this doesn't reach Federation space, in case I never make it home. Voyager was a starship by the Federation that got lost in a distant part of the galaxy, just like me. Difference was she didn't go as far as I did. She was still in semi-known space. Yes, the part she was in was uncharted, but it was still a part of the same galaxy. It still does help, though, to have a good reference point. I wonder what Janeway would have done if she would have done things similar to how I done them. If her crew would have acted the same way I've acted. I wonder what a lot of people would have thought. I don't know the answers to all the questions. I do know that I'm going to have to get back to this space station and refuel this hyperdrive. That's another thing that you guys didn't know about. If you noticed, it's out of fuel. It was leaking, and thus I had to totally fix all warp drive fuels. So one, it didn't overheat and explode, and two, it's too toxic for me around me when it's leaking. And I have to get here. Probably wondering why I wasn't running at pulse. I made a decision for a moment just to fly at high speeds through the asteroid field. Why, you ask? Oh, I can tell you very simply why. Very simple. I wanted to test my abilities to fly in a dogfight. But it's time to get here, get the warp drive filled, and continue this journey. It doesn't matter, I'm going into this space station, and if you attack it, you're going to be in trouble. Trust me. I've seen what these space stations can do. I've seen a ship attack one and they didn't last more than a few minutes. They were far more advanced than the ship I have. Not as advanced as the ship we're going to be building soon, but far more advanced than the one I currently have. It's time to go and purchase some warp drive fuel. Upon refueling, it is time to start the trip home. Once again. This was a stressful, in total time spent, over 9 days in the star system. 9 days ago, I started my first Star Journal entry about this black hole chaos. Should have never doubted myself. I will not make the same mistake twice. Because like I say at the end of every Star Journal entry, just in case I don't make it home, and neither does the Star Journal. So there's a recorded history of who I am. My name is Lieutenant Commander Ethan Carlisle. I am a member of Starfleet, and this is my journey home.